Hello, welcome again. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate your watch time in the previous, and I thank you for liking the videos, sharing the videos, and subscribing. Thank you so much, and let's do it again. Now, we already started with dietary iron, where we've looked at the historical perspective and also where you can source iron for food. We've seen that iron is actually very good for the health. As a matter of fact, a very important component for hemoglobin, which is that component of the blood that transports oxygen. And it is also, we've seen the sources of iron, dietary iron. Now, we can get dietary iron from meat and animal tissues. From plants, you get from legumes, get from seeds, and from green leafy vegetables. Green leafy vegetables, you have the pumpkin and the others. Now, you want to know more about it, please look at the previous video, also like and share. Now, today we'll be looking at absorption. Absorption is actually good when you get the source of a particular nutrient and you consume the nutrient. After consumption, ingestion is digestion. After digestion, you have absorption. Now, the main site of absorption for most nutrients starts in the small intestine. Yes, for carbohydrates it starts in the mouth, but you have it starting in the small intestine. So what we have here is the very site of absorption for iron as a nutrient is the small intestine. Now, the small intestine is divided into three components: the duodenum, the jejunum, the ileum. So it actually occurs in the duodenum and the upper part of the jejunum. Then, now in the last video, again, you want to check the last video and share also. We talked about two aspects of two categories of iron. We have the heme iron and the non-heme iron. The heme iron are usually bioavailable, that is, their efficiency of digestion is quite high, efficiency of absorption is quite high, and usually you find them in animal sources. Then you have the non-heme iron, which are not as efficient in absorption like the heme iron, and more often than not you find them in plant sources and plant tissues. So there are some factors that actually affect the absorption of non-heme iron. What are those factors that affect them? Now we look at them. Number one, we have the enhancers, and the other parts we have the inhibitors. Of course, from the name you can tell enhancers help something to happen. The inhibitors prevent or slows down the absorption of it. Now, the enhancers, you have vitamin C and citric acid. Vitamin C helps, just like in the absorption of calcium. Vitamin D, very good for the absorption of calcium. In the absorption of iron, vitamin C plays a vital and a crucial role. Now, and also certain amino acids, what they do is that they increase solubility. For example, now you know that vitamin C, we'll talk about one of these days, we'll look at each of the vitamins. After we'll talk about all the minerals. Now, the minerals. Now, vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin, so they help provide a soluble base or medium for this to be well dissolved and such absorbed into the body. Now, let's go to the inhibitors quickly. The inhibitors, for example, you have the phytates. Now, what are the phytates? Phytates are a type of plant secondary metabolites. They are like reducing oxidative stress. They have the capacity to reduce oxidative stress. Now, that this name they call them, they have to reduce oxidative stress. And then, so one of the things they do is that they are usually found in grains and legumes. they somehow not help the absorption of iron that is found in the grains. Yes, the grains have them, but they don't usually help. Now, some plant secondary metabolites are not, you have to break them. For them to be useful in the body, they need to go through the cooking process. So the cooking process helps to break their original nature, such that whatever nutrients is available or is clogged up or covered by the phytic acid, the phytate, is actually released. For example, also you have potassium and phosphorus in phytic acid or phytate. So by cooking, you have to break and make them available, released. Now, other form of inhibitors are tannins. Tannins, for example, in C. Catechin is another kind of this, and coffee. Now, all these both phytic acid, tannins are example of phenols or plant secondary metabolites, which are usually going to be broken by the process of heating. Now, what do they do? Example, you have them. Now, these plant polyphenols, you have them as phenolic acid, you have them as polyphenolic amides, you have them as you also have them as phenolic acid, polyphenolic amides. There are about 4 categories of them. Now, some of them are good and some are not good. Some are aromatic. For example, that which you find in certain food that produces good aroma, some plants, they are very good. However, some of them are inhibitors to the absorption of certain nutrients, for example, iron. Now, the body, when we talk about absorption, the rate at which absorption will occur will depend on availability in the body. So, when the body is deficient of iron, there is a higher absorption of iron. The same thing, the same principle in life. If this is full, you don't absorb more, you don't take in more. But if it's empty, you take in more. So when there's deficiency, there's a high absorption of iron in the body where this is where the absorption occurs. But when iron is lower, in case where you have anemia, when it's lower, you have when you have a lower iron in the body, there's a higher absorption. On the flip side, when you have adequate iron in the body, there's a little absorption that will go because it's already full, so you don't take so much. So other iron that is consumed in food are actually going to be excreted via the kidney, usually via urine, sometimes via vomit and the others. Now, having seen there's the absorption of dietary iron, the actual site being the small intestine, and based on bioavailability, you have the heme iron, which are efficiently absorbed, the non-heme, which are not, because yes, some categories have inhibitors, phytic acid, like phytates or stanins. Calcium also can be an inhibitor. Some also are enhanced by vitamin C, citric acid, and certain amino acid that provides suitable base for them. We want you to join the next class. In the next lesson, we'll be looking at metabolism of iron, in which case, when the iron is now absorbed, what then happens? What next? So you want to know what next? Let's see in the next. Thank you so much for staying tuned, for watching this video. If you gain value, please don't keep it to yourself, share the video. You have a question, please ask. You have a contribution, please put in the comment section. Thank you so much for being such a friend and a support. Let's see you in the next class. Thanks. Bye.